Hello everybody. Welcome back to another video where today I will be looking at the unused content of Angry Birds Friends along with Google Chrome and wonderful Pistachios, as I did not cover them back video. Anyways, with the intro out of the way, let's begin with the Adobe Flash version of Angry Birds Friends. For 2012 to 2013 versions of the game, a class named Level Data Model is present within the files, directly ported from the final version of Angry Birds Social. The code is actually called somewhere within the game. The place is known as level main, but it does absolutely nothing because the file has only one reference to load and no functions nor variables are referenced, meaning that this is probably just leftover for Social's code. This game, like many other Angry Birds Flash games, have leftovers from the 2011 Flash Tech demo. The leftover here is just unused text saying Angry Birds Flash Player 11 demo at Adobe Max, copyright Rovio Entertainment Ltd. This is present in Angry Birds Flash UI .swf in the external assets folder. Once again, it's the short animation of a pig in the files, but I forgot to play it last time, so here it is now. There is an unused note, which is unfinished, as evident by the top of the notes, saying, "Add all new power-up tutorials here." For some reason, Terrence is in a cowboy hat, which may be an unused power-up, or it was part of an event. Whatever it is, it looks pretty cool. But right under the text it says, "Ask Lori for help," which when we get to the unused graphics section, I will talk about. The graphic of the early shop was found in a 2012 version of the game. This was an early version of the final shop that never goes used. You would have been able to buy things like power-ups, avatar parts, and even level packets. The floating tab icon likely would have been moved to a different location on the same graphic. It would likely not be left in the top corner. I'm just going to put these two together as there's a little difference between them. Anyways, these two images feature a pig eating a wire and telling the players to reload the page because the game had trouble connecting to the server. These both are from the 2012 versions. The pigs are causing havoc in our server. Next room error was used in Angry Birds Ultrabook Adventure. Next up is an error that is asking cookies? In order to play Angry Birds Friends Flash Edition, you need to enable third-party cookies because you may have denied them. It says to refresh the page after re-enabling the third-party cookies. This one is also from 2012. Next is an error that would have shown up if there are no active tournaments. If for whatever reason the tournament would not appear, then it would display this error. This is also from 2012. Finally is an extremely basic and boring error. It just says an error occurred. They did not try to be creative with this one, which makes sense considering the fact that at this point, Rovio is going downhill with basically the entire franchise. Anyways, it just tells you an error occurred and to refresh your browser. This was used in the versions that came out in 2017 and later. The internal project name for this was the original name of Angry Birds Friends, which was Angry Birds Facebook. The game code has a class known as Angry Birds Friends FP11. The FP11 stood for Flash Player 11. In newer versions of the file, this is known as Angry Birds Face. The canvas loads is known as Angry Birds Facebook, but if you were to swap some assets to ones from other games that use the same engine, and then editing the XML within the SWFs, then loading it, the game will actually show you something different. It reveals an unused menu, which, like most of the Flash games, is similar to the Adobe Max Tech demo. It also uses a different in-game HUD. 3 Green Day pigs are defined within the avatar config response, but not the shop response with the IDs C10015 to C10017. Manually hacking them in the game will make them appear, and you can choose them. However, by doing this, they restrict every ability for any items. In all future versions of the game, the Green Day pigs are left over. The textures for them are exactly the same as the 2012 textures and ignore the 2018 textures. 2 of the pigs' animations have an extra 142 frames of blank, so that's why they appear in and out. And then there's the Mighty Eagle. He once again is defined within the avatar configuration file with the ID C10009, but once again, not in the shop response. His animation frames are completely static, with his only shadow being animated. Most objects on him are not properly scaled. The UI is also heavily bugged when choosing objects for him. Eventually, the avatar creator will just lock you out for the rest of the session. First off is done, 2 arrows beside it, pointing left and right. Next is done, not found in PC game assets, use the same one as in Flash Project with those 2 arrows once again. These are comments possibly generated from an internal asset map generator. Anastasio sent you a mystery gift. Catherine, Markowski, Winterberger, and Jaskolin. There are some placeholder names of some kind. Anastasia is likely Anastasia Karlamova, a developer working at Early at the time. This is a power-up description placeholder. You use this and the pigs won't know what hit them. Inspect error text. Halloween week test. Helpful text for login and registration. Lord Miss Bum. This is just a placeholder for the text. Text alignment, font embedding, and width. The actual text is loaded from an XML file. Text will be scrolled on the scroll area. Level name, version number placeholder, version 1.1.1, revision 100, tooltip text here. Extends classic state view UI by adding friends specific views like friends play, chapter selection, Green Day views, etc. This is to know how to extend the classic states views UI. Text box title. Now this next part is in Latin, so what I'm gonna do is I'll put it into Google Translate, and whatever Google Translate says is probably not correct, but I don't speak Latin. So, according to Google Translate, this word, this paragraph, is the customer is very important. The customer will be followed by the customer. It is a good thing for a patient to have a good life, and sometimes the body is at its limit. Everyone was not expecting it, but to decorate the salad and the poison is expected. Very cool. Header text goes here. Power-up suggestion header, dynamic pop-up title. The customer is very important. The customer will be followed by the customer. Mecenas, Molesti, Morris et Velit, Olum Corper, Abortus, Felice, and Perdate. Together with their companions, the mountains will give birth to feathers and great thrusts. A ridiculous mouse will be born. The entire mass of the Earth's element is formed. I don't have a football field, but the biggest players do. Not always. For the pillow at the bottom of that layer, I didn't even fully understand it. No one is a big fan. The industry was like that. There's a second one that is just the exact same thing, just slightly shorter. Text. The link name goes here. Event header, event text, dynamic content, items for avatar, server ID C10001, etc. Category top, server ID T30001, etc. Halloween hat, 3 Xmas hats, Easter hats added, Halloween 2013, Xmas 2013, Wingman 2014, Office 2014, Halloween 2014. Server ID G40001, 2 Christmas classes, Halloween 2013, Wingman 2014, Halloween 2014. Server ID M50001, 1 Christmas beard, Halloween 2013, Xmas 2013, Halloween 2014. Category bottom pants, server ID P60001, 2 Halloween items, 2 Christmas items, Valentine's, Easter 1 item added, Halloween 2013, Xmas 2013, Office 2014, Halloween 20. Name parameter must be identical, case sensitive, with export name of the main movie clip of this UI view. Star player X, player name null, Jonas 2013. Jonas 2013 was possibly a signature from Jonas Nyman, a lead programmer of the game. The signature can internally be found on the Easter Raffle Enter pop-up sprite in the branded tournaments asset. First off is Lori. Now Lori, according to Google, is a koala. I personally don't see the resemblance, but there might be one. Lori is an internal name for a user on the friends list, which internally is used as a placeholder. The avatar was also used back in the beta version of Angry Birds Friends back in 2011. I think, though, that Lori was not just a placeholder originally. I believe that originally the thing known as Lori would automatically be in the friends list of the user. My theory is, rather than having a text box where you can type in Lori, where you could type in Lori's text box, it would bring up a list of options, and the player could just select one of them. Afterwards, Lori would reply with a predetermined response to help out new players in the game. However, that is just a theory I have about Lori. Next up is a splash screen for the original 2013 version of Angry Birds Facebook, behind a new loading screen. This was probably removed about 2017. Icons for the game's 5 power-ups from the open beta version of Angry Birds Friends is still present and unused in the 2012 version of Angry Birds Friends. Only hover textures are present except for TNT Drop, which has static features. Next up is unanimated Green Day level select. In the final game, all the levels select are animated, so this goes unused. This, however, stays from the Green Day update to the latest version. And finally are textures for branded tournaments. Let's get to more. There are leftovers for Ham High specifically, levels 14-16 to 14-18 from Angry Birds Classic. And finally is a more interesting unused level known as Level Benchmark -1.json. This level features a huge symbol which replicates the look of the Triforce. The only pig in this level is a helmet pig to the right of the Triforce, and the one bird in this level is Chuck. This was likely used to test stability of the game and how well it runs with a lot of objects. Now we're going to move on to Angry Birds Google Chrome. First off is a graphic that was used to let players know that a new episode would be coming soon. This episode specifically was Easter Egg, which was in Season 1 of Angry Birds Seasons. Some more old graphics from previous Angry Birds games. The Rovio Presents graphic would have led players to the official Angry Birds YouTube channel, while to get your merch now would have led to the official Angry Birds merch store. Next up is a menu item, which promoted Angry Birds Space because at the time Angry Birds Space was just released. However, in a later update it was replaced with a different menu item. Next is another menu item, this time promoting Angry Birds Cheetos, which is a pretty weird Angry Birds game honestly, but it existed and no one can do anything about it. This one was later replaced with Angry Birds Hikey, which is also pretty weird. And the final menu item is a promotion for another promotional game, this one being Angry Birds Wayla Tazos, which makes this the third time I had mentioned it in a video since the Angry Birds games you had never heard of came out. You know what? I'll put a counter up here for how many times I have mentioned these Angry Birds games in total. So if there's a counter appeared before, that is why. Anyways, this menu item was likely removed because the advertisement ended. Next up are sprites for the slingshot being pulled back. In the final game, only the band of the slingshot is actually moved, with the wood going real far back. The next unused graphic of an early version of the sidebar limit. There are several differences, major and small, between this and the final version. First of all, the place where the profile looks different than the final game due to the stars and feathers being inside their own boxes, while the early version just had them on one background in the same box. Also, there is no score box, unlike the final game. There were 2 buttons that obviously were not decided what they would do yet, and later on they just got rid of the 2 extra buttons altogether. There are different graphics for the buttons also, and for the buttons on the side. And also there's a huge box at the very bottom for Angry Birds Space. The weirdest part of it, though, is at the top. For some reason it's saying Mighty Hoax is on 2-16, which makes 0 sense because it's not this level, it is in the poached eggs. I have no idea why they did that, and finally a graphic sheet that is left over from the Angry Birds Samsung Galaxy Note crossover back in 2011 known as Angry Birds Winter Wonderland. The internal project name for Angry Birds Chrome was Foul. And we got some leftover music from Angry Birds Winter Wonderland. I will play the first 30 seconds of the music right now. There isn't much for Angry Birds Pistachios, but some unused graphics. There's the merch shop, the Chrome dimension, birds looking at a lock, a more coming soon sign, the level select menus including one named Teamwork, and 3 pigs looking at each other. All of these are left over from Angry Birds Chrome. And then there's all the graphics, mostly for special items that were in the Chrome dimension. And that's it. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry for not uploading. I'm hoping to get 2 videos out next month. I'm not sure what they're going to be yet, but they're definitely going to be Valve related. It's either going to be Half-Life or a Portal. I'm going to flip a coin, and in the next video you'll find out what it landed on. I'll show my live reaction for flipping that coin. If you enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. See you guys.